The massive alien ship appeared without warning, emerging from the darkness of space near Jupiter's orbit. Its purple-black hull stretched longer than Earth's largest cities, bristling with what looked like weapons. Admiral James Walker stood on the bridge of the UES Defender, Earth's most advanced warship, and watched the alien vessel with careful eyes. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Lisa, his communications officer. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing control panel. Walker nodded, his gray hair catching the soft blue light of the bridge displays. "Put them through." The alien that appeared on the main screen looked almost human, except for its silver skin and completely black eyes. It wore an elaborate uniform covered in strange symbols. "I am Supreme Commander Marcus of the Galactic Dominion." The alien spoke in perfect English, surprising everyone on the bridge. "Your primitive world has been discovered by our border patrol. You will submit to our rule immediately." Walker kept his face neutral, though inside he felt a mix of amusement and concern. The Dominion had no idea what they were dealing with. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for over a century. "This is Admiral James Walker of the United Earth Space Command," he replied calmly. "Earth welcomes peaceful contact with other civilizations, but we will not submit to any foreign power. We suggest peaceful diplomatic relations instead." The alien commander's face twisted in what looked like a smile, but there was no warmth in it. "You don't understand, Admiral. The Dominion rules over 500 species across this galaxy. Your single planet has no choice. Submit or face destruction." Behind Walker, his crew maintained their professional calm. They had trained for this. Earth's satellites had detected the Dominion ships years ago, and humanity had been building up its defenses ever since. "I must decline," Walker said firmly. "We wish no conflict, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." The alien commander laughed. "Defend? With what? Our scans show your ships still use primitive fusion drives. Your weapons are basic plasma cannons. One of our scout ships could destroy your entire fleet." Walker allowed himself a small smile. The Dominion scans had shown exactly what Earth wanted them to see. The real weapons remained hidden, waiting. "This is your final warning," Commander Marcus declared. "Submit to the Dominion, or we will make an example of your world." More alien ships appeared from hyperspace, forming a battle line. Their weapons charged, creating an eerie purple glow against the backdrop of space. The Dominion clearly expected Earth to panic at this display of force. Instead, Walker pressed a button on his command chair. Across Earth's solar system, hidden defense platforms activated. Sensor buoys that had been disguised as space debris came online, and in the depths of the Defender, weapons that defied the laws of physics powered up. "Commander Marcus," Walker said quietly, "I don't think you understand humanity's nature. We don't fight wars to win battles. We fight to end threats permanently." He paused, letting his words sink in. "This is your only warning. Leave Earth's space peacefully, or learn why advanced civilizations should fear discovering us, not the other way around." The alien commander's face showed the first hint of uncertainty. Something in Walker's tone made him hesitate, but his pride won out. "Open fire," Marcus commanded his fleet. "Show these primitives the power of the Dominion." Walker shook his head sadly. He had tried to prevent this. Now the Dominion would learn why humans had a saying. Better to have peace than to deal with Earth's wrath. "All ships," Walker spoke into the fleet communication channel. "Execute Protocol 0. Show them what humanity is capable of." The space around Jupiter's orbit was about to become very interesting indeed. The Dominion's weapons lit up space with purple energy beams, all aimed at the small fleet of Earth ships. Commander Marcus watched with satisfaction, expecting to see the primitive human vessels burst into flames. Instead, his jaw dropped. The energy beams passed right through the Earth ships as if they weren't there. "Impossible," Marcus shouted, slamming his fist on his command chair. "How did they?" "Sir," his science officer interrupted, voice shaking. "Those ships, They're not actually there. They're holograms. A new message came through their communication system. Admiral Walker's calm voice filled the Dominion command bridge. I warned you. Now witness why Earth is not to be trifled with. From behind Jupiter's largest moon, the real UES Defender emerged. It looked nothing like the hologram they'd been seeing. This ship was darker than space itself, seeming to bend light around it. A single blue light pulsed along its hull. One shot, Walker's voice said quietly, to demonstrate our mercy. Marcus laughed nervously. One shot. Against our flagship's shields. Your arrogance is. He never finished his sentence. The Defender fired. A beam of pure darkness, darker than the void itself, lanced out from the Earth ship. Where it touched the Dominion flagship's shields, reality itself seemed to tear. The massive alien ship didn't explode. It didn't break apart. It simply ceased to exist, along with a sphere of space around it roughly a kilometer wide. Complete silence fell across all communication channels. That, Walker's voice returned, was a controlled burst from our smallest dark matter cannon. We targeted your flagship specifically to minimize casualties. The sphere of annihilation was intentionally limited. On the bridge of the remaining Dominion command ship, the new acting commander stared in horror at the empty space where their flagship had been. Their most advanced sensors couldn't detect any debris. There was nothing left to detect. What? What are you? The new commander asked, his voice barely a whisper. We are humanity, Walker replied. A species that evolved on a death world, where everything tried to kill us. We survived by becoming better at ending threats than anything else in our planet's history. When we looked to the stars, we didn't see a frontier of peace. We saw potential threats to our existence. More Earth ships decloaked around the Dominion fleet. Each one was different, carrying weapons that the alien sensors couldn't even begin to understand. For centuries, Walker continued, we watched your Dominion. We saw how you conquered peaceful races, how you exploited them. We prepared, not just to fight you, but to make sure that if war came, it would be the last war anyone would dare start against Earth. A holographic display appeared on every Dominion ship, showing hundreds more Earth vessels waiting in hyperspace. Their weapons weren't just advanced, they broke the laws of physics as the Dominion understood them. You have two choices, Walker said firmly. Leave our solar system immediately and spread the word. Earth is not to be attacked. Or, he paused, letting the threat hang in space. We can demonstrate our larger weapons, the ones designed to end wars permanently. The Dominion fleet didn't need to discuss their options. As one, they turned their ships around and jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind only the empty void where their flagship had been. A permanent reminder of humanity's power. On the Defender's bridge, Admiral Walker sighed. Send word to Earth Command. Tell them the Dominion took the warning. But they'll be back. They'll want our technology. And we'll be ready, Lisa replied, looking at the spot where the Dominion flagship had vanished. We're always ready. 3 days after the first contact, the Dominion returned. Not with a single fleet, but with thousands of ships darkening the space around Saturn. Their vessels stretched as far as Earth's telescopes could see, a massive armada assembled from across their empire. In the White House's secure bunker, President Anna Thompson watched a holographic display showing the invasion fleet. Her face remained calm, though her knuckles were white as she gripped her chair. They'd brought their entire military, Admiral Walker reported through the secure channel, just as we expected them to. Casualties if they reach Earth, the President asked. None, Walker replied confidently. Our planetary shields have been ready for decades. But, he paused, if we let them attack first, they might harm our colonies on Mars and Europa. President Thompson nodded slowly. The time for warnings had passed. Initiate steel rain. Across the solar system, humanity's true defenses awakened. Quantum computers that had been dormant for years spun up to full power. Hidden bases on Mercury began charging their solar energy arrays. Automated factories on Venus activated production lines that had been waiting for this moment. The Dominion fleet approached cautiously, still remembering the demonstration of the dark matter cannon. Their sensors detected increasing energy readings from throughout the solar system, but they couldn't decipher what they meant. On their command ship, the Dominion's High General smiled. "See, the humans are powering up their defenses. Just as expected. All ships, prepare tow." He never finished his order. Across the entire fleet, their quantum communications suddenly went dead. Their neural networks crashed. Every piece of advanced technology they relied on simply stopped working. "Welcome to your worst nightmare," President Thompson's voice somehow broadcast on their emergency backup systems. "You thought we just had better weapons. The truth is, we have better everything." The space around the Dominion fleet lit up. Massive rings of energy appeared, created by humanity's quantum gates. Through them poured waves of automated drones, each smaller than a car, but carrying weapons that could destroy capital ships. "You see," Thompson continued, "humans don't just build weapons. We create entire systems of war. Your fleet is already inside our battle network. Your technology is already compromised. Your tactics were predicted by our AI centuries ago." Across the Dominion fleet, panic spread as ships lost power. Their mighty engines, their advanced shields, everything just stopped working. Earth's quantum virus had infected every system. From Jupiter's orbit, massive stations emerged from their cloaked physicians. Each one was the size of a small moon, bristling with weapons that defied physics itself. The automated defense network that humanity had spent centuries building revealed itself at last. "Last chance," President Thompson announced. "Surrender your fleet, withdraw from our space, and spread the word. Earth is not to be threatened. Ever. Or we can demonstrate why humans don't just fight wars. We end them permanently." The Dominion's High General stared in horror as more of humanity's defenses revealed themselves. Weapon platforms teleported into position using technology his people had thought impossible. Swarms of AI-driven fighters moved with perfect coordination, surrounding his fleet completely. We surrender," he managed to say, his pride broken by the display of overwhelming power. In the White House bunker, President Thompson nodded to her staff. "Stand down, Steel Rain. Begin recovery of their disabled ships." She turned to her advisors. "Make sure they can return home to spread the word. But first, download everything from their databases. It's time we learned more about this galaxy we're joining." The greatest invasion fleet in Dominion history had been defeated without a single shot fired. Humanity had shown the galaxy that their technological edge wasn't just in weapons. It was in everything. In the Great Hall of the Dominion's capital world, Commander Marcus stood before the Council of Elders, his silver skin now pale with fear. The massive crystal screens behind him showed recordings from the failed invasion of Earth. "You don't understand," Marcus said, his voice shaking. "These humans, they're different from any species we've ever encountered. When our ships attacked, they didn't just fight back. They made us irrelevant." The recording showed Earth's ships literally bending space around them, making Dominion weapons pass harmlessly through twisted dimensions. Another clip displayed human vessels appearing from nowhere, their quantum drives ignoring the laws of physics that the Dominion had thought universal. "Look at this," Marcus continued, pointing to a new image. "This is what happened when we tried to adapt our shields." The screen showed a Dominion battleship attempting to copy human technology. The ship's shield suddenly collapsed in on itself, creating a small black hole that consumed the vessel. Elder Taurus, the oldest member of the council, leaned forward. "Explain." "Their technology." Marcus paused, searching for words. "It's not just advanced. It's like they developed along a completely different path. When we try to copy it, we fail because we don't understand the basic principles. It's as if they found another way to write the laws of physics." In the back of the hall, Intelligence Officer Robert stepped forward. His research team had been studying human history through captured databases. "Honorable Council," Robert spoke, "I believe I know why humans are different." He activated his own display, showing Earth's violent history. While most species evolved by avoiding conflict, humans evolved by mastering it. Every human technology, every advancement, came from their constant drive to be better at survival. The images showed humanity's wars, their disasters, their challenges, but more importantly, it showed how they grew stronger with each obstacle. Look at their entertainment, Robert continued. For fun, they imagine scenarios where they face impossible odds. Their children play games simulating conflict. Even their sports are controlled combat. They spend their peace preparing for war. Elder Taurus's eyes widened. Are you saying they're naturally violent? No, Robert replied. That's what makes them truly terrifying. They're capable of great peace, great art, great kindness, but they never stop preparing for the worst. Their cities have hidden bunkers. Their peaceful ships can transform into warships. Every piece of their technology can be used for defense. New images appeared, showing human cities. Beneath the beautiful architecture and parks lay complex defense systems. Their orbital habitats could become fortresses. Even their children's toys contained emergency survival tools. When we attacked, Marcus added, we didn't just face their weapons. We faced the combined preparation of an entire species that has spent its whole history getting ready for this moment. They didn't just build weapons. They rebuilt their entire civilization to be ready for war while hoping they'd never need it. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The Dominion had ruled the galaxy through superior technology and military might. But humans had shown them what true preparation for war looked like. What do they want? Elder Taurus finally asked. Robert displayed one final image. Earth's first message to the stars, sent centuries ago, but never detected by the Dominion. It read, "We come in peace, but we come prepared." They want what they've always wanted, Robert explained. Peace, but they'll ensure it through overwhelming strength. Not because they love war, but because they've learned that the best way to avoid war is to make it unthinkable. The Council of Elders looked at each other, a decision forming in their ancient minds. For the first time in Dominion history, they would have to be the ones to seek peace, because the alternative was too horrifying to consider. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was the largest in 10,000 years. Representatives from all 500 member species packed the giant circular chamber. Fear filled the air, not of war, but of something worse, becoming irrelevant. Intelligence Officer Robert stood in the center of the chamber, surrounded by holographic displays showing human technology. His latest discovery had shaken the council to its core. "They've been watching us," Robert announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Not just for years, for centuries." He gestured, and new images appeared. Ancient human satellites, disguised as space debris, that had been recording Dominion activities for over 300 years. The council members murmured in shock. One representative stood up, his blue scales shimmering. "Impossible. Our sensors would have detected them." Robert laughed quietly. "Just like our sensors detected their real ships, their real weapons." He displayed a new image, a tiny human probe, no bigger than a coin. "They built these using crystal technology we thought was impossible, scattered millions of them throughout our space. They know everything about us." Elder Taurus raised his hand for silence. "What do their records show? What have they learned?" "Everything," Robert replied. "They watched us conquer peaceful races, watched us exploit resources, watched us rule through force." He paused, letting the words sink in. "And they prepared. Not just weapons, but solutions for every scenario." The holographic display showed hundreds of human battle plans, each designed to counter specific Dominion strategies. But more surprisingly, it showed peace plans too. Detailed proposals for trade, cultural exchange, and mutual defense. "This is what makes them different," Robert continued. "They didn't just prepare for war. They prepared for peace too. They built weapons that could destroy us, but also designed ways to help us grow. They created viruses that could shut down our technology, but also developed ways to improve it. A new representative stepped forward, Admiral James Walker, the first human to address the council. His simple blue uniform stood out among the elaborate robes of the alien diplomats. "Your civilizations evolved through cooperation," Walker said calmly. "Humanity evolved through overcoming challenges. Every time we faced extinction, we became stronger. But we learned something important along the way. True strength isn't about destroying enemies. It's about turning them into friends." The chamber erupted in confused discussions. Elder Taurus raised his voice over the noise. "Yet you developed weapons that could annihilate us." "Because we knew that real peace only comes when war becomes unthinkable," Walker replied. "We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to help build a galaxy where no one needs to rule through force." Robert displayed one final image, a human library, filled with knowledge about science, art, medicine, and technology. "They're offering to share everything," he explained. "All their advances, all their discoveries. They only have one condition." "Which is?" Elder Taurus asked. "That we work together to protect the younger races," Walker answered. "That we stop conquering and start nurturing. They're offering us a choice: continue being the galaxy's rulers or become its guardians." The council chamber fell silent. The choice before them was clear: adapt to humanity's vision of peace through strength, or risk becoming obsolete in a galaxy where humans made war impossible. Elder Taurus looked at the human admiral, seeing him in a new light. "You could have conquered us. Why offer peace instead?" Walker smiled slightly. "Because true victory isn't about defeating an enemy. It's about making sure you never need to fight them again." The future of the galaxy would be decided not by weapons, but by this choice: to remain conquerors or to learn from humanity's greatest weapon, the ability to turn enemies into allies. 1 week after the council meeting, the Grand Archive Hall of the Dominion capital hosted its first human delegation. Ambassador Thomas stood before the gathered alien leaders, but instead of giving a speech, he played a video from Earth's history. The video showed humans helping each other during disasters. It showed them rescuing animals, rebuilding cities, and celebrating peace. Then it shifted to scenes of war, showing the same humans defending their homes with terrifying determination. "You see us as monsters," Thomas said, his voice gentle but firm. "As beings of pure destruction, but you're only seeing half of what we are." He gestured to the screens. "Every weapon we built hoping to never use it. Every defense system we created, we prayed would stay dormant." The alien leaders watched as the video showed Earth's first ventures into space. Their satellites carried both weapons and scientific instruments. Their ships had guns but also carried seeds and art. "On my world," Thomas continued, "there's an ancient saying: if you want peace, prepare for war." But we took it further. We decided that if we had to fight, we would make it the last fight ever needed. Commander Marcus, now serving as a liaison to the humans, stepped forward. "But why develop such overwhelming force? Why not just enough to defend yourselves?" Thomas smiled sadly. "Because just enough leads to arms races. It leads to constant conflict. But when you develop power so great that war becomes unthinkable," he paused, "then you can focus on what really matters: growth, discovery, and peace." The video changed again, showing Earth's hidden cities under the oceans, their bases inside mountains, their colonies on hostile worlds. But it also showed the gardens they built there, the schools, the hospitals. "Every human child learns 2 things," Thomas explained: how to fight, and why not to. We train for war while praying for peace. We build weapons while dreaming of the day we can turn them into tools for creation. A young alien scientist raised her hand. "But our scans show your weapons could tear apart reality itself. Why create something so dangerous?" "Because the galaxy is dangerous," Thomas replied. "But more importantly, because only when you have the power to end everything Do you truly understand the importance of preserving it? The screens now showed Earth's latest projects. Massive shields that could protect entire solar systems, not just from weapons but from natural disasters. Devices that could stabilize dying stars. Technology that could make barren worlds livable. "We're not offering just our weapons," Thomas said. "We're offering our understanding. Our technology can destroy worlds, yes, but it can also save them. We built our strength not to rule, but to protect. Not to conquer, but to preserve." The alien leaders began to understand. They had seen humanity as simple warriors, but they were something far more complex. Guardians who had mastered destruction so they could better protect creation. "Your empire," Thomas concluded, "was built on taking what you wanted. Ours was built on protecting what we loved. Join us not as subjects or even allies, but as partners in preservation. Help us turn this galaxy from a place of conquest into a garden of growth." In the back of the hall, Elder Taurus watched the faces of his fellow leaders. Where there had been fear, he now saw understanding. Where there had been hatred of humanity's power, he saw respect for their wisdom. The monsters weren't monsters at all. They were protectors who had made themselves terrifying, so they would never have to actually terrify anyone. It was perhaps the most human thing of all, to master destruction for the sake of creation. The Dominion's weapons lit up space with purple energy beams, all aimed at the small fleet of Earth ships. Commander Marcus watched with satisfaction, expecting to see the primitive human vessels burst into flames. Instead, his jaw dropped. The energy beams passed right through the Earth ships as if they weren't there. "Impossible," Marcus shouted, slamming his fist on his command chair. "How did they?" "Sir," his science officer interrupted, voice shaking. "Those ships, they're not actually there. They're holograms." A new message came through their communication system. Admiral Walker's calm voice filled the Dominion command bridge. "I warned you. Now witness why Earth is not to be trifled with." From behind Jupiter's largest moon, the real UES Defender emerged. It looked nothing like the hologram they'd been seeing. This ship was darker than space itself, seeming to bend light around it. A single blue light pulsed along its hull. "One shot," Walker's voice said quietly, "to demonstrate our mercy." Marcus laughed nervously. "One shot. Against our flagship shields. Your arrogance is—" He never finished his sentence. The Defender fired. A beam of pure darkness, darker than the void itself, lanced out from the Earth ship. Where it touched the Dominion flagship shields, reality itself seemed to tear. The massive alien ship didn't explode. It didn't break apart. It simply ceased to exist, along with a sphere of space around it roughly a kilometer wide. Complete silence fell across all communication channels. "That," Walker's voice returned, "was a controlled burst from our smallest dark matter cannon. We targeted your flagship specifically to minimize casualties. The sphere of annihilation was intentionally limited." On the bridge of the remaining Dominion command ship, the new acting commander stared in horror at the empty space where their flagship had been. Their most advanced sensors couldn't detect any debris. There was nothing left to detect. What are you?" the new commander asked, his voice barely a whisper. "We are humanity," Walker replied. "A species that evolved on a death world, where everything tried to kill us. We survived by becoming better at ending threats than anything else in our planet's history. When we looked to the stars, we didn't see a frontier of peace. We saw potential threats to our existence. More Earth ships decloaked around the Dominion fleet. Each one was different, carrying weapons that the alien sensors couldn't even begin to understand. For centuries," Walker continued, "we watched your Dominion. We saw how you conquered peaceful races, how you exploited them. We prepared, not just to fight you, but to make sure that if war came, it would be the last war anyone would dare start against Earth." A holographic display appeared on every Dominion ship, showing hundreds more Earth vessels waiting in hyperspace. Their weapons weren't just advanced, They broke the laws of physics as the Dominion understood them. "You have two choices," Walker said firmly. "Leave our solar system immediately and spread the word. Earth is not to be attacked. Or," he paused, letting the threat hang in space, "we can demonstrate our larger weapons, the ones designed to end wars permanently." The Dominion fleet didn't need to discuss their options. As one, they turned their ships around and jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind only the empty void where their flagship had been, a permanent reminder of humanity's power. On the Defender's bridge, Admiral Walker sighed. "Send word to Earth Command. Tell them the Dominion took the warning. But they'll be back. They'll want our technology. And we'll be ready," Lisa replied, looking at the spot where the Dominion flagship had vanished. "We're always ready."